Oregon Representative-elect Andrea Salinas has spent a life in politics. She was an aide to U.S. Senator Harry Reid, U.S. Representative Darlene Hooley here in Oregon. Salinas also has experience in Salem, elected to represent Oregon's 38th district in 2017. Now, she's the first person to lead Oregon's newly created 6th U.S. congressional district. Congresswoman-elect Salinas, thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit first what it's like to go ahead and try and set up an office and a home as well in D.C.
Well, it is certainly a whirlwind. I think I was not quite prepared for how much work was going to be as we started off here, but it's been fun. But it is a lot of work. You know, we had 55 days essentially when we attended new member orientation to get our offices up and running. That includes everything from hiring personnel to making sure we know, what laws we are obligated to adhere to, and making sure that, we have the staff not only in Washington, D.C., but the staff in the district office to make sure we can fulfill constituents' needs here in the 6th congressional district. And then, I have to figure out where I'm going to live. And so I found an apartment relatively quickly with 2 other members of Congress, 2 other female members. So that will be, that just kind of made my life easy. So I had that, I can move, it's move-in ready. I don't have to furnish it, and it's 2 blocks from the Capitol.
Kind of reminding you of college days, I suspect, huh?
A little bit, yes.
Now, what's been the biggest challenge so far in learning the ropes in the halls of Congress?
I would say the biggest challenge truly is a lot of the red tape and everything that we need to make sure that we are adhering to. We're also starting to get some legislative trainings, and that'll be coming up right after swearing in. We got some high policy briefs from the Institute of Politics at Harvard Kennedy School of Government last week. So it's just every step is a lot of information coming at you at once. So I would say, it's just learning all the nuts and bolts and everything that is required to represent this district and a new district and represent it well. And I would say not having a current district, so not having the technology and the offices set up has also been, somewhat a bigger challenge. And I think most other offices who have a legacy office to come into is a little bit more difficult.
You're the first member of Congress from Oregon's new 6th district. Now, Oregon has grown its population enough to get another member of Congress to represent its interests. You've got Yamhill, Polk County, Salem, parts of Clackamas, Washington, Marion counties. How do you know what your constituents want on issues when it's such a varied area? You've got rural, rich and poor areas. How do you know what everybody wants?
So really, it's getting out into the communities and talking to constituents. And, I did that on the campaign trail, and I've heard from folks all across the district, not, in no one particular area, that the cost of living was, has been a real hardship for families, working families, and families like mine. I know, the cost of groceries and gasoline have been increasing, but also hearing about the homelessness crisis. And, we're seeing that in all the counties. Again, it's not, exclusive to just one county. And also, we have a lot of great elected nonpartisan officials who I've actually already met with a number of them from Polk and Yamhill and Marion County last week. A lot of the council of government folks, mayors, county commissioners are really excited to start working in this district in particular and prioritizing some of the community projects. And really, especially the infrastructure issues are completely nonpartisan. So hearing from elected officials who have already been on the ground doing the work is incredibly helpful as well.
Is there any particular of those subjects that you want to work on first? Is there one area where you say, look, I really want to drill down and get something done in this particular area?
Yeah, well, for me, a lot of times it's really looking at what Congress needs to do and what they need to pass. And so starting off, I think the Farm Bill reauthorization is going to be critical to our district, with the Willamette Valley comprising so many family farms as well as specialty crops. We need to make sure that we have a voice at the table. So I'm really eager to make sure that I dive into the Farm Bill as well as some of the nutrition programs that go through that bill as well. So I'm really excited to work on that, really excited to try to figure out and help my soon-to-be colleague, Congresswoman Bonamici, on the childcare issue. I've been hearing a lot from parents who really are finding it hard to place their kids in childcare. And then if they can find a place for childcare and, so that they can get back to work, it's really expensive. So really trying to bring down the cost of childcare and making sure that those in Oregon's 6th congressional district have a place for their kids when they go to work.
In that particular area, what are you thinking or suggesting? Some kind of a voucher form?
Yeah, I mean, that is something that, I think we've been trying to work on here at the state level, in addition to making sure that those who are the child care providers are being paid and reimbursed adequately, especially from the government, because the government does pay for some providers for employment related daycare. And so making sure that they have the reimbursement levels to maintain their businesses, because during the pandemic, we did see a number of those folks go out of business because they had to reduce the number of kids that they were taking in. So making sure that, the federal government plays its role to prop up those businesses and also those families who need childcare.
What committee assignments are you hoping that you get? Are you trying to lobby for particular assignments?
Yeah, that's one of the things that out of the gate, they ask us, tell us what committee assignments you want, and you have to start jockeying for that. So I asked for the Agriculture Committee, again, because the Willamette Valley, I think, really does need a voice at the table in the Farm Bill reauthorization. And then I also asked for the Education and Labor Committee, because I do think working families need additional opportunities, and we need to make sure that well, first of all, that our education system is providing everything that kids and folks in this district need, but also moving into the labor sector, that folks are able to unionize and really negotiate and bargain the way the National Labor Relations Board was set up to do. So, and I think there are some challenges with that right now.
I was checking and saw that just over a quarter of the representatives in the House are women. Do you see that as a factor? Do you notice that when you're there, that there are still relatively few women there? And do you think that's an issue?
It's interesting because the last couple of weeks, I clearly have been hanging out with a lot of the freshman members, and there is a large representation in freshman members on both sides of the aisle of women. So it's not as noticeable until you get into, the larger caucus. And our caucus in particular, I think, has a lot of women. But yes, it is definitely noticeable. Men outnumber women. But I think those women and female voices are definitely strong and heard.
Some people wonder, when you go there and you're representing, thousands, tens of thousands of people, can you separate out what you want from what your voters want?
I feel like I should be representing my voters, and our values, I believe, match. I being a Latina and representing what the largest Latino district in our state at 20%. I feel like I've been part of this community for a number of years, working on a lot of the issues they've been working on, working side by side with a lot of, union workers, especially those from AFSCME and SEIU. So a lot around the Salem area, and really working on agriculture issues with farm workers as well as the growers to figure out what they need. During the farm worker overtime bill, we heard a lot about labor shortages. So I think, really fighting for the things that I have been hearing on the ground is what I plan to deliver.
Is there anything in particular, we just have a few moments here left, but that when you look at what's happening now and connecting back to your constituents, do you expect that you will be back often enough to keep in touch with them?
Yeah, so we got a preliminary calendar from the Republican caucus, and it looks like there are good chunks of time, because I'm sure, all of us on both sides of the aisle want to make sure that we are connecting back to our constituents. So it looks like there are some good chunks of time when I'll be home, pretty much a couple of weeks on end. And then there will be times when, a weekend is not going to be enough time to get back and forth. 2 days isn't really enough time to get anything accomplished. But those, I think, are few and far between. But, with the advent of Zoom and being able to serve constituents and, voters through online meetings, I think, we have other ways to communicate and make sure that we're all connected.
Representative-elect Andrea Salinas, thanks for joining us and good luck in the coming weeks.
Thank you, Lisa.